Hello everyone, my name is Ishan Marwa and I'm going to present the exploratory data analysis that I've performed on the English Premier League. The English Premier League is one of the top division football in England and is played on the promotion and relegation rules. Now with the available data, we'll try to answer some of the questions regarding the league, like what are the important considerations to win or sustain in the league? What are the important factors to succeed? In order to answer these and more questions, we'll be performing various analysis on the football parameters at the season level, team level, and at the combination. We'll also look at some of the quality records and stats in the league. Before starting with the analysis, let's have a quick look at the available dataset. Here, we have 25 years of data with the details of each match with the full-time goals and results and the half-time goals and results. In the pre-profiling phase, we found two issues with the data. Majorly one with the date formats, where there were various date formats, and secondly with the halftime stats, where most of the things in the initial two seasons were done. Since it was just two seasons and not much important because of the rule changes post these seasons, we have filled this with zeros and draws for the halftime. As for the dates, I have standardized the date into the YYMMDD format. Now let's start our analysis for the season level. Now as we see here, the first two seasons had the more number of matches as compared to the other seasons. The reason for this is quite evident from our second graph. That was because the first two seasons had 22 teams participating while the rest had 20 teams. And this was because, as I stated, that the rules were changed post these first two seasons. Now look at it from the goals perspective. The first two seasons, more matches had more goals. But an interesting feature here that even though there were more goals in the first two seasons, but the goals per game were pretty low. And this could be one of the possible reasons for the authorities to decide to reduce the number of games. Now let's see at the distribution of the home and away goals. Pretty evident. All seasons had more home goals than away goals. This gives us a slight hint towards the possible home ground advantage. Now let's see the comebacks. Now the comebacks are defined as when a team losing till the halftime goes on to win the game. As seen here, all seasons had the comebacks, but the best was 2012-13, and by the looks of it, it must have had pretty interesting games. As we have mocked up the data in the initial first two seasons, for the halftime results, we have no comebacks here. With this, we have completed our season level analysis. Now let's move towards a team level analysis and try to answer some of the specific questions like who won the most and least matches, who scored the most goals. We'll also look at the stats at the home and away basis. Now as seen here, Manchester United, Arsenal and Chelsea are the top three teams who have scored the most goals at the home and away rounds. But is it safe enough to say that they are the best teams? Probably not, because they might have played more number of matches. That's where the second chart helps us. These teams are indeed the best scoring teams because because their goals per game is also highest among all teams at the home and away grounds. Let's move ahead with the win percentages. Again, Manchester United, Arsenal, Chelsea are the top three at the home and away wins. Now coming to the losses, Manchester United have the least losses. Arsenal, Chelsea, again with the Middlesbrough, just one exception. But an interesting point to note here is that Arsenal is second in almost everywhere except in the away ground wins, where Chelsea tends to take the advantage. With all these stats, this increases our doubt of having a home ground advantage. Now with the thought of the Paul Prime prayer on the comeback, let's move ahead and see who our comeback kings are. As seen here, Arsenal at home and Manchester United at away are the comeback kings. Now the interesting point here is Manchester United at their home comebacks. This shows that if a team at Manchester United home is leading at halftime, they have a much better chance to go on and win the league. Let's move ahead and see what are the teams that have placed in all 25 seasons without relegation. These are referred to as Big Six. These are Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester United, Everton and Tottenham Hotspur. This completes our individual team and season level analysis. For more such graphs and details, please refer to the Jupyter notebook. Now, with Isramol Abiya's thoughts on scoreline, let us now move a step ahead and look at each team at each season and how they fared. This will help us answer many when and who related questions. First things first, for each team season analysis, I have built the points table as per the Premier League rules for all seasons in the Jupyter Notebook. Here is just a sample of the points table taken from a very unique 2011-12 season, for this was the only season in the Premier League history of 25 years where the winner were decided on the basis of goal difference as the total points were same for them. Now, with the Premier League table points table built, let us use this and see some of the best and worst stats of the Premier League history. At first, I came up with this plot which would help answer the whens of the max and mins of the league, like max and min points, max and min wins, max mins goals scored and conceded. But this still could not answer the who part. To answer the missing who part, I extended this idea over interactive plotly charts as seen here. This answers the who's part very well. For example, as we see here, Manchester City is a team that scored the most number of goals and that record came in 2017-18 and the minimum was by Derby in 2007-8. Here I have documented all the best and worst Premier League records. You can use the interactive graphs from the Jupyter Notebook to see more. Now moving away from the stats, as 20 teams play against each other in the home-away format, we have a total of 38 game week. Here I have built these two tables for the weekly form and weekly cumulative points. Let's see how did a team progress in the season. The tables have the option to select the season and the teams and view the progress accordingly. This table, though provides a good information, can be huge and difficult to read. Let's now look at an interactive way to see how a team moved in the season. Here, we have the option again to select the season and the team either through a drop down or a slider, and it gives a beautiful representation of the journey of the team in that season. It gives us the weekly rank, the points and the result of that team during any game week. Let's have a quick look at these graphs now. Here we can select the season, whichever season we want to see, and similarly the teams if we need to select and see how did the team did over the 38 game weeks on that season. Now coming to the interactive plots, here you can select the season from the drop down, select the city or the team that you want and see how did they win or how did they progress in that season. Now with all the available data and the analysis, let's try to figure out some important considerations for the teams that can help them prepare for the league. Firstly, let's look at the statistical recommendations to increase the chances of a team to win the league. This shows how the champion sides have done over the years in terms of points. Similarly, this shows how they performed in terms of goals scored. As evident, an average of around 87 points and an average of around 81 goals is what is needed to have a better chance by the team to win the league. Now, in the league, only one team wins, but the three teams are relegated. Let's try and look at some numbers that can help the teams improve their sustainability chances in the league. We have similar graphs as we had for the champion side, but this time to avoid relegation. And pretty evident, a team needs on an average of 39 goals and needs to secure an average of 36 points to have a better chance to sustain in the league for the next season. Sir Alex Ferguson, the most successful manager of the league, once said, "Attack wins you games, but defense wins you titles." Let's break his thought and look at the data. Here we can see that the goal scored, goal difference, and the goal conceded are highly correlated with the rank. Now taking these goal criteria and seeing who wins the most titles, we can see here that the team with the best goal scored won the title 64% of the times, but the team with the best goal difference won it 68% of the times, and that is the most. Thus, the manager's words had the statistical weightage as well. With this, we have concluded the EDA portion from the Premier League. Let's see the conclusions that we have. So the teams were reduced from 22 to 20 after the 94-95 season. We see more home goals than away goals, possible home ground advantage.
Manchester United emerged as the most consistent and successful club of the league with the most titles won and leading in all fronts. We have six teams, the big six, that have played all 25 seasons. The best goal difference won the title 68% of the times. In terms of halftime comebacks, Arsenal and United are leading. And we also looked at the worst and best stats of the Premier League. Now let's look at some of the actionable insights that we could derive from here. Now statistically, in order to win a league, on average a team should score 81 goals and secure 87 points. Similarly, to sustain in the league, they should score around 39 goals and secure a total of 36 points. Now, as a team with the best goal difference 168% of the times, a team should consider defense as an important measure to win the league. This attribute can be used by the teams while trading players and during the team building phase. Now, we see a lot of home advantage being talked about. Now, the possible reasons could be the crowd creating the pressure, the less travel, and the ground and the familiarity with the ground size and the pitch. While crowds is something that is still debatable to be controlled, if it's ground size and pitch, that can be standardized, and thus the advantage could be mitigated. With this, I complete my analysis. Thanks for watching. You can share your queries and feedback at the email ID. Thank you and have a good day.